Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are you doing? I don't like. I'm going to take it further up and further over. Hopefully it works out. All right, we have a sick computer here today. We're going to take a look at. Let's throw this up. Well, actually get me out of the picture so we can just focus on this one. Is the camera nice and straight for everybody? We'll zoom in a little so we can see what we're working on. I did go ahead and take the screws out, and we're getting no fan turning, so hopefully this doesn't get in too deep of water for us. This is a business computer for the guy. He runs everything through this. This is Lifeline, so we hopefully want to get it back to him. You can see, doesn't matter what we do with our power button, we're not getting any power. No life. All right, we definitely have another issue with this guy, and it is not our battery, because one, we can unplug the battery and it still won't turn on. So I believe we're getting into deeper water. All right, let me cancel that. We are recording though, that's good. Okay, so we have no power. We need to find out what the issue is. We're gonna get this board out of here first, which is a damn shame, but it is what it is at this point. We got to get this guy back his laptop, as it's his business computer, as I stated. So let's get to work. All right, if I'm not a moron, and I am, believe it, we should, at a certain point, be able to lift this out. And I think this is that point. I don't think I left anything connected that I ripped loose. Come on, man. This is just a laptop. You don't need to be picking up rogue screws from all over the place. And this is the part where we're going to have to stand back up. 820-3437B. Not one of my favorite boards. 3437B. Camera's on. All right, the camera's set up now. What we're going to do is take a look at any areas that look like they may be a problem. That's just some discoloration, but to what extent, I don't know. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't like the look of that. Other than fibers, that looks good. Maybe that chip is important. We'll have to get the schematic up for this thing. And let's continue with just our examination. We just want to look for obvious screaming, hey, help me problems right now. Right now I'm just grabbing this customer's DCN board. We're going to plug in, and I hate to have the fan connected and flip-flopping around, but I need to see if this thing is going to turn outside of the case or not. I'm going to take one moment and throw our heatsink back on very quickly. Just take and grab a couple screws, put our heat spreader and fin stack back on. Can't we call this whole unit something simple like a ICS, inbuilt cooling system? We do need to replace that thermal paste though. That's top priority. But we're not going to waste it, not until we have some type of function from this thing. All right, let's plug our fan in. And what's the sense of this? Well, in the rare occasion, these will work outside of the case and not in, and that points to a specific problem. We're checking for that. Do I really need this ribbon on to make that connection, or will it just... All right, so we have fan spinning now. Let's see if it goes off on, off on. It's kind of hard for you to see, I'm sorry. Let the camera brighten up. So, let's try something quick. We're going to throw the SSD back in this. I think this thing's booting, and it has a bad keyboard. And I could have confirmed this just by unplugging the keyboard, but sadly, I didn't think of it. I didn't think of this ahead of time. But I did now, before we started getting too into the diagnostics. I think we're dealing with a bad keyboard, and this computer is booting fine, but we had no way to boot it with the keyboard plugged in. And I didn't, if I remember correctly, did not test it beforehand. So before we have to dive in and navigate schematics and everything, schematics, board views, let's get our mini DisplayPort adapter here. We're going to plug in. Let me find a scene. I'm fairly certain that will block any view of this if it boots. You ready? Let's find out. We may get it off on. Alright, fan spinning. I know it's hard to see, but 100% it is spinning. It's going to turn off. When it does turn off, we'll put a line. Watch that line. And there goes that line, making a color on the wheel. And let's see if this thing boots. I think it is booting, and we're dealing with a bad keyboard. There, look at that. Let's hit OK, and before that goes the whole way across, we'll drag that up. And we gotta pop our cover ID in place. But looky there. We got our little Apple bar going across. And our Apple. This thing's booting. It's got a bad keyboard. And we just booted up. It's going to be stupid and sluggish because we're missing about everything except for running over mini DisplayPort and power. Like we have MagSafe, we have our power going in, mini DisplayPort for display, and nothing else. So this computer is 2 steps away from brain dead right now, but it is booting. And it's a bad keyboard. So we all know how a MacBook Air keyboard replacement is done due to a live stream. So I may or may not record replacing the keyboard on this. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it out on this one just because I've done it on a live stream. It's a massive process when you remove the battery, pull the plastic, pull the keyboard, or pull the backlight layer, pull the keyboard out, have to pop all those rivets, clean all them holes out, new keyboard in, screw it down. Yeah, it's a task. So I think we'll leave it out and we'll call that a win on this one. We are now booting. As we have evidence, we can see we're booting just fine. We know it. It is running. I can call this guy and let him know you're 100%. I just got to get a keyboard put on it for you, and you'll be good to go. So I will do that rush. I want to hurry up and get the order put in for it. I want to see if I have another one here in stock. If I do, I'll use that one, and then we'll put the order in for one to replace the one I have in stock, which won't be as much of a rush, but yeah. We're going to call this one sorted. Hopefully somebody learned something from this. Before we dove in and I started going a little crazy with wanting to dissect with what was wrong, and I could have simply just unplugged the keyboard and with the battery plugged in, put power to it, and this thing would have booted fine. Anyhow, I'm going to leave it at that. If you're new here, my name's Nick. I try to fix things regularly all the time. It's what I do for work. And yeah, thanks for hanging out and diagnosing this MacBook Air A1466. This is a 82. For the people that care, this is an 820-3437B board. You can use the 820-3437 schematic on it. It will lead you to the right places if you get into using Flex Board View and the board view files and schematics to diagnose these things and repair them. I didn't even need to go that far. I missed a step in the diagnostic process, and we do that. This is an all too common mistake that we all make, and it's good we caught it so early on. Being that we want to fix and repair this stuff, you know, get it going, tear it apart. What's wrong? Find that spot. Hot air solder, turn some screws, swap apart, whatever it may be, however you're fixing. It's all too easy to want to do that and miss something so simple as let's unplug this keyboard, which under this battery, it's super common. You have your trackpad, and there's a ribbon that connects. The keyboard connects to a spot here. The trackpad connects to the same spot, and then from that spot comes this ribbon cable. Yeah, it's super simple to just unplug that cable and then have everything else plugged in and put power to it. And I missed that. And that's that anxiousness, that burning question, that tick, that monkey on your back wanting you to get in and find the problem, get under the microscope, find the tiny detail that's wrong. It's all too easy to run down that rabbit hole, get that tunnel vision of where's that microscopic problem or whatever it may be. So yeah, hopefully this reminds people out there that it's not always a super high level repair problem, and it's as simple as a keyboard, although that keyboard is a complex pain in the ass repair. anyhow, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much, people. As I have been saying, much love for clicking that link, coming over, hanging out. I do appreciate it so much. Watching the videos, commenting. I love interacting with everybody. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you. What? Oh. Oh, right. You want proof? Okay. It's just a bad keyboard. We're going to solve it like this. So trackpad don't work because the cable that connects both of them is not connected. So see the cursor? Just a bad keyboard. And proof why? I don't know. 'Cause the internet, maybe? I don't know. Anyhow, there's the proof.